In January 2019, a quiet suburban home in Florida became the scene of something unthinkable. 3 members of the same family were found shot inside their own house. There were no signs of forced entry, no struggle, no robbery. Only one person in the house was still alive, their son. But this case did not begin with violence. It began with something far more ordinary: loneliness, the internet, and an online relationship that slowly replaced reality. Grant Amato did not look like a monster. He looked like someone who spent too much time online, and not maybe exactly where the story starts. Grant Amato was 29 years old at the time of the murders. He lived with his parents in Chuluada, Florida, a quiet, middle-class area outside Orlando. His father, Chad Amato, was a former military man and a healthcare professional. His mother, Margaret, worked in the medical field. His brother, Cody, was described as responsible and stable. Grant, however, struggled to find direction. He had once studied nursing, but never built a stable career. He moved back home. He spent most of his time on the computer. To outsiders, it may have looked like a young man going through a difficult phase, but inside that house, tension was growing. Everything changed when Grant discovered a webcam platform. There, he met a woman from Bulgaria named Sylvie. At first, it was simple. He tipped her during live streams. He sent messages. He paid for private chats. But over time, something shifted. Grant began sending larger and larger amounts of money. Not hundreds, thousands. Eventually, investigators would estimate that he transferred around $200,000. Most of that money did not belong to him. It came from family accounts, from savings, from loans taken in secret. To Grant, this was not a transaction. He believed they had a connection. He believed she cared about him. The more he paid, the more real it felt. Eventually, the family found out. Bank accounts had been drained, savings were gone. His parents confronted him. They cut off his internet access, they removed his phone. They demanded he attend treatment for internet addiction. For a short time, it seemed to work. But after returning home, Grant reconnected with Sylvie. The conflict inside the house intensified. His father reportedly gave him an ultimatum: no more money, no more contact, no more lies. For Grant, that meant losing the one thing that felt meaningful in his life. On January 24th, 2019, tensions reached a breaking point. The next morning, Grant's parents and brother were found dead in their home. Each had been shot. There were no signs of forced entry, no outside suspects. Grant told investigators that he had been asleep, but evidence began to tell a different story. Surveillance footage, phone records, financial activity after the murders. Shortly after the killings, attempts were made to transfer more money online. That detail deeply unsettled investigators. During the trial, prosecutors argued that Grant killed his family to regain financial control. Without money, he would lose access to the woman he believed loved him. The defense attempted to raise questions about evidence and intent, but the jury ultimately found him guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But this case leaves lingering questions. Was this about money or about identity? What happens when someone builds their emotional world entirely online? When fantasy becomes more important than family? When reality becomes an obstacle? The Grant Amato case is not just about violence. It is about isolation, about digital intimacy, about how easily perception can be manipulated. There was no dramatic chase, no elaborate cover-up, just a quiet home, a glowing screen, and a line that was crossed. Sometimes the most dangerous transformations happen slowly, behind closed doors and behind screens.